top 5 personal startup desert island essentials that you would bring with you?
You have to be able to get yourself mentally prepared for a long journey. Having the right mindset is absolutely critical to ensure that you're the best chance of success. You don't get carried away.
Well, you are starting again with a knowledge in your head. What would be the top 5 personal startup desert island essentials that you would bring with you if you're going to start your journey back again?
An idea that I'm really excited about. I'd like really to find a great co-founder. The many companies start off as a solo founder with an idea. If you're a technical founder, it's a lot easier because technical founders can stretch to building the business themselves. If you're like a non-technical founder, it's a bit harder to do. I am by my background not a technical person. So I would key for me is to find a strong technical founder. Co-founder that is, and so that would be important for me. But everyone's know yourself again. If you know what you're good at, and in my case, I know I'm not good at tech. So in terms of like building code, so I need to find someone who is excellent at building code. And just the sheer perseverance around that. There's a friend of mine called Chris Barton. He was a founder of Shazam, and he was saying, he described to me when he spent literally months talking to the very, very best people in the whole area of technology around audio technology, and found this absolute stunning guy, Avery Chan, and basically Avery and him work on another sort of co-founders. And that's an example of like taking the time to find the best co-founder to build a great company.
Okay, number 1, good. Find a good co-founder. Number 2.
Well, this is now down to yourself. Is have the right mindset, sort of a constant element of being curious and learning. Like the idea is that you should always be hungry to keep learning from others, and try not to, as much as you're passionate about your idea, not to personalize it. So you take it in a way which is you get too caught up in it. You got to try and think about it as independent activity that needs to be looked at rationally and thought of as almost like, as I said earlier on, a sort of scientific method, a experiment, a hypothesis needs to be tested. And so having the right mindset is absolutely critical to ensure that you're the best chance of success. You don't get carried away with an idea, and you take a rigorous step-by-step approach to evaluating it so you can get the best chance for customers to buy the product. Yeah.
Number 3.
Probably perseverance. I mentioned that if you can, it's rare that you launch a product with the right first time, get a good market approach and the right the customers set and the right product. So if you can have the ability to prepare yourself for a long journey, it is a journey of both highs and extreme lows. But it is, if this is what you want to do, and again, you have to be passionate, you have to really believe in this. The whole startup thing is somewhat viewed as an amazing experience, but it's challenging. And you have to, I often say that you have to put your family to be understanding what you're going to go through. It can be hard, in terms of not, it doesn't always work out. And so you have to be able to get yourself mentally prepared for a long journey. And I always feel as part of that is to be as much as mentally fit as physically fit. So being like keeping yourself active. There's a lot of burnout. You hear about people talking a lot about mental health issues around being a startup entrepreneur. So try to find a way to break away and think. I mean, you hear about someone like Warren Buffett, who is a brilliant investor. He spends a large part of his day just thinking, thinking about interesting business ideas, and knowing when the right business appears in front of him, he's ready to make an immediate decision. He's ready to put like hundreds of millions of dollars down because he spent the time to really understand the market. So don't try to fill up every hour of every second of your day just because it makes you feel busy. Trying to really sort of have the ability to think So there's a lot to that in terms of just the right mindset and then having the structure and the perseverance.
Absolutely. I felt there was something one of my old mentors, one of my old CEOs used to say, which was a startup journey on average is about 7 to 10 years. And having that mentality in your head as you go into it puts you ahead of most of the game.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's going to be long means that your expectations, the mother of all sadness and misery, are set correctly. And, if you've got a 3-year timeline, a 2-month setback is much more emotionally charged than if you think you've got a 7 to 10 year.
Yeah, it's so true. Things take a lot longer. It's a lot longer than we all expect. And everyone creates their spreadsheet around revenue growth, and they all have this hockey stick, and it's all like funny enough, all within 5 years. Or 3 years if you decide not to do a 5-year projection. All of them have this takeoff after end of year 1, year 2, when
they've got the only fools and horses adage when they're doing their commercial plans. And this time next year, Rodney, we'll both be millionaires, kind of thing. I think we've all, Thomas and myself, have also seen commercial plans or projections like that, and you're like, why? And the answer is because it feels good.
or how, right? Well.
Sorry, so on to your third. What would be your third desert island item?
Fourth, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, forgive me, fourth.
Maybe having a Kindle. Now, that is because it can give you access to hundreds of books for you to read on your desert island, if that's where you are. Obviously, the power source as well. But having a Kindle is having access to other people's experience and knowledge, and just keep on trying to keep up to date with trends. Try to assume that you don't know all the answers at all. In fact, that you need to keep on learning. And a Kindle is a fantastic easy solution to do that. And then I think about Kindles is I think you can take them in the glare of the sunlight on the desert island beach. You were able to see it a little clearer than you've really took a tablet or something like that.
You seem to have experience with that.
maybe beaches, I imagine. The fifth.
Yeah, this is somewhat similar. There's so many great tools out there. There's podcasts. I mentioned the one, the Founders Podcast. There's attending events. I mean, I even the same. I'm constantly going to meetups. In the evening about new topics, new businesses, to try and learn about things that I'm completely have no knowledge about. But it's I think the most, you see it actually in academia right now. The most interesting areas in academia right now aren't in the sort of vertical sort of faculties. It's actually the crossover. It's like chemistry and physics, or psychology and sort of chemistry or something like that. It's fascinating. These the crossover points in different in different parts of study, and that's what you don't get if you just simply focus on just your industry. So learning from other industries, trying to think about things in an orthogonal way, which is and that means getting out there. That means maybe not catching up on the latest Netflix episode for that particular night, going out for a meetup on something which is very different. It could be also on quantum computing, which is that seems to be on the cusp of our next hype cycle. Yeah.